What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And quick reminders, we are in our last week of August. We're in August, right? So make sure to download and play Wipeout Omega Collection and Sniper Elite 4. Both offer for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those. Come back at the end of this week. We'll be talking about them on Plus Club. Let us know your opinions on those games. We'll let you know ours. And fucking, if you got VR, try out Wipeout Omega Collection in VR, because that game, I bought it for the VR when it originally came out.
That has to be trippy.
I've barely played it the normal way. Game of the month, randomly picked, was Ori and the Blind Forest. Make sure to download that, buy that. It's not free anywhere, I don't think. And play that. And if you played in the past, join us at the end of the week for Game of the Month. I'm all over the place. I haven't done like a traditional episode in a while, so I'm just like, what do I do? Play that, come back at the end of the week. We're going to be talking about that for Game of the Month. And yeah, love to have you join that conversation. We have Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. And we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. Also, I just want to throw out there, and I'll work it into my spiel at some point in future episodes. I am now on Twitch, obviously. YouTube's back up. You guys probably already noticed, but I'm also on Mixer now. So if you're on Mixer, check me out at 9while9.
I already added it to the box.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, link down below. So pick your poison. I'm on 3 things now when I stream, so check it out. And also, Twitch and Mixer have really good quality. YouTube doesn't.
Mixer probably has the lowest latency too.
Yeah, it looked really good. So I was like, oh shit, Mixer's actually pretty decent. So that's an endorsement. I'm not getting paid by Microsoft, but if they want to, they can.
Yeah, I actually sat, and obviously we got to do Taste Tuesday, but we sat there, watched all 3 streams, and Mixer was the quickest out of all of them. So
Yeah, and Twitch is pretty fast. So
Twitch is pretty fast, but Mixer
YouTube's
was
not.
like instant.
Yeah.
So
Which is cool, because I thought it was my dual streaming website that I use. I thought it was the reason why YouTube was delayed, but it's not.
it's just YouTube.
It's just YouTube,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of disappointing, because that's where the community's at. Yeah. So Tasty Tuesday. Let's just jump into us, because let's just jump into this, because we don't got a fucking whole lot of time. I'm all over the place. I just got home from work. I'm fucking tired. You guys understand? Okay. First bit of news. I've been saying that a lot lately. I'm just like, you guys understand. You guys understand all the shit I'm going through in my life. Yeah. So as you guys probably already know already, Sony has bought Insomniac Games, developer of the recent Spider-Man PS4 game. Via Kotaku, as much as I don't like reading from these guys, they got the info. It says Sony has purchased the California-based game studio Insomniac Games, best known for last year's Spider-Man on PS4. Insomniac will become an exclusive PlayStation developer, Sony says. Founded in 1994, Insomniac remained independent for 25 years, working largely with Sony on series like Ratchet & Clank and Resistance. I forgot about Resistance, but also with other big game companies like Microsoft, which published the colorful open world game Sunset Overdrive, unlikely to get a sequel anytime soon, which kind of makes sense because that was through Microsoft. Mm-hmm. I doubt they're gonna be like, yeah, that's fine, go ahead. You know, they're all about like fucking, we're all about the gamers, and they've been so far, but in that regard, I can't see them being like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Insomniac also has worked on several VR games with Oculus, including the upcoming Stormland. I've never heard of that. Currently announced as an Oculus Rift exclusive. Notably, Insomniac's previous VR games have not been released on PlayStation VR. That's about to change in the future, I'm sure. Yeah. So, what do we think about what pretty much seems like a no-brainer? Sony buying Insomniac Games, a company that they've had pretty close relations with for a long time.
I would think that last sentence is probably really important, is that they've already, I mean, they're pretty much just at home already.
Yeah.
They've made 3 exclusive titles now for Sony, each of which have done, you know, at the very least decent, because I don't think Resistance did bad.
I'm the only person who doesn't like that game. So I think that's a pretty decent
I know a lot of
estimate.
people who at least like played and got some enjoyment out of it. I love Ratchet and Clank.
Rob loved Resistance.
I would love for Ratchet and Clank to continue.
Robsistance.
I think with Sony money, it probably will. And then Spider-Man, if I read that right, 13.2 million copies, they're making another one.
100%. You know, when I played it, I was like, we're getting a sequel.
Yeah.
There's no way they're not making another one of these.
That's too many copies sold.
Yeah.
I mean, at 3 million copies, I'd be thinking they'd be making a sequel.
I think in my stream I did recently, make sure to go back and watch that. It's like 4 hours long almost. Somebody was saying like Monster Hunter World sold like 15 million copies. I was like, that's like the butter zone, man. Like you want to get like 6 million sold if it's a AAA game. If you're up past 10, that's great. So yeah, Spider-Man's on 13. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're thrilled about that. So, I don't really have a whole lot to say on this other than like welcome to Sony. I look forward to seeing what projects you get to do now that they're paying the bills essentially. And yeah, if you bring anything out like you did with Spider-Man, I'm sure it'll be great. So
Yeah. As anybody who's been playing games long enough, I'm pretty well acquainted with Insomniac Games and playing their games for years. And I've always admired them, but I've never been a huge fan of them. It took Spider-Man to really kind of show me like the capability of what they're able to do. Like they're really a fucking talented company, and I've always kind of known that, but Spider-Man's just like really fucking good. Like you can't even really debate that. But it's kind of amazing that they made Ratchet and Clank. They did the fucking remaster, the remake recently, and it was really neat. Good. It was really neat. So, and after I played that, I was like, I'd love for them to make like a legit new Ratchet and Clank now. So if anything, I could see that happening now. 100%, because that's a series that I kind of connect with Sony, so it kind of makes sense. Resistance, I'm not a fan of that series, but it's been so long since it came out that you could easily put out Resistance now, keep it pretty similar in the sense of like alien invasion or whatever with old school weapons, but make it modern and make it feel better. I'd be open to try it again because it's not going to be the same game anymore. It's been so long that you probably just get those crazy weapons that you're going to expect from Insomniac, but hopefully a better first-person shooter, and I'd be down to play it. So that'd be kind of cool to revisit. We're definitely going to get another Spider-Man, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. And again, it's just really smart of Sony to do this, to just lock them in, because after the success of that, they've had close relations, but they've fucking dabbled with Microsoft working on Sunset Overdrive, which I played a little bit. I thought it was okay. A lot of people actually really liked it, but it was kind of like
a sequel.
Yeah, it's kind of like, a game that if you played it, you like, kind of like Alan Wake. It's a game, if you played it, you dug it, but a lot of people didn't touch it. It's really kind of an unsung hero, and I wish more people would have tried it. I probably should have played it some more, but, so they have dabbled with them, making exclusive, so it makes sense. Sony saw the potential of what they did with Spider-Man, how well it was received, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna lock this down. We're done. Like, that was great. We're gonna buy you. It's also really interesting to mention too that Sony hasn't bought a studio in like for fucking ever. I think the last time they bought a studio was like on PS2. So it's been like years and years and years.
And their studios have just been killing it then.
Yeah. Well, they just make new studios and stuff. They don't purchase them.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft recently was just like, U12 over there, and they're like, huh? They're like, you're ours now.
I don't have to invest in all this crap you already have.
Yeah. You guys are all doing great. Just come over here. And they're like, okay, Microsoft. Which I'm really excited to see what they do in the future as well. But so that's kind of a big deal to see Sony go like, okay, we're gonna buy you. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. They got close relations. They're making awesome games. They have the potential to make great games in the future. They have imagination. Every single game, whether I'm a big fan of it or not, on that list, all super imaginative.
Oh yeah,
games.
100%.
And none of them are the same.
Yep.
So this is a really fucking big get for Sony. It's really exciting to me, and I can't wait to see what they come out with next. Although, if I was a betting man, I would just say it's Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, probably.
I can't see them going like, you guys did great with that last game. What do you want to make? Resistance 4? No.
Or, even though I know Crystal Dynamics is doing it, but I think these guys could make another superhero. It doesn't have to be Spider-Man.
Especially within like the Spideyverse.
Yeah.
A Venom game would be cool. Although I just feel like they're going to throw Venom in Spider-Man. Then maybe we can get an offshoot game, which would be cool.
Yeah. No, I would love to see them just expand on that. But even like using that formula, they could very easily make any other superhero, like, an Iron Man game, for example, and it would still be great. So
X-Man.
An X-Man game?
All of them. All the X-Mans. And
if they're all playable with that kind of quality, I think people would go nuts.
I'd play a fucking Wolverine game like that. Yeah. So overall, I think this is really fucking cool, really awesome. It's a really good, like I said, get for Sony. This is a really smart move, and it just makes sense. They got that relation. So yeah, best of luck to both of them. I think they're gonna both do great. Working together now, and I can't wait to see what they come out with next. Anything else you want to say on that?
Nah.
Let us know in the comments what do you think about Sony's acquisition of Insomniac Games. What do you think Insomniac Games is going to make next? What are you most excited for? Would you like to see any of these games come back? Do you think there's a chance we could see Sunset Overdrive 2 on Sony? That'd be fucking crazy. Or PlayStation. Maybe they can buy the rights to that, although I don't think that'd just be like a fucking strip no. Doesn't matter what the price is. We're just not doing it. I just couldn't see them giving that over.
No.
Just, for the fucking pride of it. Ratchet and Clank, Resistance. Were you a Resistance fan? Would you like to see another one of those come out? And if there's something you'd like to see these guys work on in general, let me know in the comments below. Second bit of news is where the show gets a little bleak. So GameStop has confirmed it has laid off 120 people. This represents 14% of the company's headquarters associates. 14%, that's not small.
Other
So-
corporate people.
Yeah, but this coincides with Game Informer, I believe, as well.
It does.
So, via IGN, since I'm just reading articles today, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey is out now. I didn't know that. I'll have to go check that out. Okay, so GameStop has confirmed layoffs at its corporate headquarters, which has affected over 120 corporate employees, 14% of the total associate workforce at the company headquarters. In a statement to IGN, GameStop confirmed that it initiated the layoffs as part of its GameStop reboot initiative, something we've talked about prior on the channel. GameStop's been having problems for fucking forever, and they're trying to figure out what the hell to do. In quotes, it says, "We can confirm a workforce reduction was implemented, impacting more than 120 corporate staff positions, representing approximately 14% of our total associate base at our company headquarters, as well as some other offices," GameStop said. As part of the previously announced GameStop reboot initiative to transform our business for the future and improve our financial performance, we can confirm a workforce reduction. I already read this shit. Extended. While these changes are difficult, they were necessary to reduce costs and better align the organization with our efforts to optimize the business to meet our future objectives and success factors. We recognize that this is a difficult day for our company, and particularly those associates impacted. We appreciate their dedication and service to GameStop and are committed to supporting them during this time of transition. The layoffs come at a time when Game Informer, video game print publication published by GameStop, also announced a series of layoffs to its editorial staff. GameStop has been in a difficult position for the last couple of years. In August, GameStop laid off over 50 regional district field leaders and consolidated its regional offices. All of this is part of the realignment strategy to help the company reposition itself in a changing games retail market. So with all that said, they just laid off more people. All, headquarters, company headquarters, so it seems corporate people. What do we make of this? My bigger question is, do you think this is actually going towards something that could possibly help them? Or do you think this is just kind of part of the motion of eventually dying off? And what do you think about how Game Informer has been affected?
Well, okay, so first and foremost, it sucks for both companies, for anyone who lost their jobs.
What he says, I mirror that. Every time we talk about the stuff, we don't want to see anyone lose their jobs.
I know at least with the corporate guys, they're probably going to have an easy time finding jobs. It kind of sucks big time for the magazine people, because that's not a booming field right now.
It's dying off in general.
So hopefully they can find something, and hopefully it's not a lot of the stuff that I listen to Seth vent about on a daily basis.
Yeah.
As far as what I see here, I see honestly what I kind of expected to see from them. Whether they can turn it around or not will be interesting to see, because I don't know what their strategy is going to be to compete in an industry that is going more and more digital. And then the people who are able to sell in the physical market are not game stores. They're I sell everything stores, Walmarts, Targets, Best Buys, stuff like that. So And then of course you have to worry about the huge fucking Amazon type thing. So they're in a tricky spot. I like I said, I'm curious to see. I don't want to just call anything, but I do feel like they have a really big hill to climb up. So if I had to guess, unless someone has like a crazy good strategy, they're probably going under. But I don't necessarily want to see that. I'd like to see them be creative and maybe come up with something and I wasn't thinking of and I would be excited for. Personally, transparency's sake, I hate GameStop. So
You worked for them back in the day.
I did for 4 years, and yeah, I'm not gonna go into story time on that. I don't like the company. So
Me neither. So I've been kind of watching this demise happen over a long time, like everybody else. And to me, this just seems like your ship is sinking and you're panicking and trying to figure out what do we do? What do we do? Okay, make the boat lighter. So you start shoving people off the fucking boat. I don't think it's going to help them. I do think GameStop will go under unless they redesign their company as something else. You drop the name GameStop because it's associated with video games. They're obviously moving away from that. So they need to turn into something else. I don't know what you can offer though, because all the novelty shit you sell, you can get everywhere else.
unless they kind of go into like every type of game, like they start doing pen and paper, tabletop, like board games and shit like that. And even then, that is still kind of a niche market. So,
Yeah. And so it's really hard to tell. I don't buy that they're going to be able to fix this, but of course they're going to try. And it's kind of crazy because they've been fighting really fucking hard. There's a couple times there where I thought they were going to get bought out.
yeah.
And they, fought that off somehow. So they're really trying to save this company, but they have to do something crazy. As for Game Informer, and GameStop, anyone losing their job, that sucks. But at a corporate level, you starting to get into those higher up people. That's not a good sign. Also, it's not like the little man we're talking about there. So it's just like it's just a sign of the demise of the company. But as for Game Informer, I really, and this might be controversial, even though I'm on the internet every day and I see that pretty much most people agree with me. I don't like gaming publications. I think they've completely deviated away from the actual gaming community, and I feel like they are living off of the past and where they were the people, they were the arbiters, they were the ones who gave us the information, and now they just get the info when we do, and then they want to tell us about it, and we're like, no, we already found out. Do you got an opinion that's worth listening to? Oh, you don't? Okay, we're gonna continue our conversation. You fuck off. And Game Informer's been part of that. Now, of course, the legacy of Game Informer, I used to fucking read Game Informer all the time. I used to love it. It's a different time then. Nowadays, it's different as well. It makes sense. It's going under and losing people because the company that owns it's already going under. But also, gaming publications in general are going under. They're all struggling. A lot of them have gone. A lot of them are downsizing. They're struggling. They're putting out clickbait, rage bait articles to drive clicks and get money because they don't have anything else to offer. So for the legacy of it, it sucks to watch, but at the same time, that is just bad. I mean, it's a sign of the times. All these motherfuckers need to hop on YouTube or something and make their own channels and start building the shit up. Easy Allies, all the guys from Game Trailers that went under years ago, they're all doing a YouTube thing, and it's fucking fantastic. It's completely devoid of all the stupid, political shit that you see from a lot of these people, and all the, we're gonna tell you how it is. Fucking, we give you the info. Well, no, you don't. Nobody does. We all get it on Twitter at the exact same time now. And so, people like Easy Allies are doing a great job. These people need to do the same thing. They need to, obviously they're making money. They got a job. They need to keep it, but you got to look at the future. It's time to fucking start, future proofing your career and your platform of where you're at right now. You have a platform that's been given to you. You're there already. You can get it out there and start up, like you said, a podcast or something. That's what I would do if I was them, but I'm not them. So, overall, GameStop, I think, is going to go under eventually. Although I saw an FYE at the mall the other day, the Tacoma Mall. Remember that?
No.
For Your Entertainment. It was like an old place where you used to buy like DVDs and shit.
I've drawn a huge blank.
Like 10 years ago. There used to be an FYE at the mall near here.
I don't remember last week.
Okay, so anyway, that's an old school store that used to be like CDs and DVDs and shit, right?
Okay.
I saw one of those at the mall and I was like, FYE exists still. Looked in there, like in the way in the fuck back, there's like a DVD section, but the rest of it is all like plushies and novelty stuff. So I was like, when I saw that, now I'm thinking about this, I'm like, that's what GameStop's gonna do, the exact same thing. Like they're gonna do the exact same thing. They have to.
Yeah.
But that, I saw that, just like Kmart. I think there still is Kmart. There's one Blockbuster somewhere. I think it's in Oregon. So like,
Yeah.
some of these fuckers take a Sears. A lot of these fuckers take forever to go down. So it's kind of crazy to watch. But yeah, I do not see a future for GameStop, especially when you look at digital sales every year going up and up and up. There's still a market to buy physical copies, but there's no reason you can't get those physical copies anywhere now. GameStop is not the place you have to get them now.
I mean, hell, Walmart sells everything at $50 right off the bat.
Yeah,
right now.
and Amazon, you can get it the day of, and you don't have to go into a store where somebody's trying to fucking upsell you and shit. So there's no future for GameStop. So no country for old GameStop. Anything else you want to put out there? I really didn't say. I just kind of went on a rant, kind of, but it's shitty, but it makes sense.
It is shitty, but not on the corporate level. On a like the people losing their jobs level, it's shitty.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I mean, like I said already, I'm just waiting to see. I'm curious what they'll do, and obviously, a part of that curiosity is mostly because I have like a weird connection to GameStop, anyways. So
yeah. Let us know in the comments. What do you make of this? What do you make of the 14% of the company headquarter associates being laid off, 120 people from GameStop? What do you think about the future of GameStop? Do you think they have a chance at surviving in this market? Do you think they don't? What about that upcoming recession I keep hearing about? Let's get real dark. What do you think about Game Informer? Being under them and also feeling some of the loss, and do you think there's a future for them, and do you think there's a future for publications, or is it all just going to YouTube at this point and watching the individual talk about games versus the group of people who just tell you the info that we all pretty much have at this point? So what's your thoughts on this topic? Let me know in the comments below. Last bit of news, we're going to do this real quick because I didn't realize we were fucking getting this close to the end of all things. Last bit of news, Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot box controversy. We hit rock bottom, EA Dice says. Via IGN, they said, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is almost 2 years old, but the developers at EA Dice are finally moving on from the loot box controversy that dogged the first year of Star Wars Battlefront 2. We hit rock bottom in terms of player sentiment, but now it's climbing every month, says Dennis Bronval, who is the design director for Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was supposed to be EA Dice's definitive take on the Battlefront series, which EA inherited from Pandemic Studios. Unfortunately, the decisions to include loot boxes that potentially allowed players to earn powerful upgrades, which players said were pay to win, severely harmed the hype of the game ahead of its launch. EA Dice removed loot boxes from the game 24 hours before launch. Battlefront 2's loot box controversy grew beyond the game and brought the ethical and legal efficacies of loot boxes into the mainstream discussion. Not a week goes by without us thinking, imagine if we hadn't launched with loot boxes the way we did. That would be quite the difference in the outcome. The loot box controversy may have led to Battlefront 2's less than expected sales, but EA Dice has been toiling away on free updates despite the negative reactions at launch. Bronval said that the team approached the situation like how Ubisoft has treated Rainbow Six Siege. They didn't launch the way they wanted, but now it's doing well, and I think we're on a similar trajectory. EA Dice recently announced the newest Battlefront 2 roadmap at Gamescom, which outlines the new content coming to the game starting in August through December 2019. This includes new maps like Felucia, I'm not sure, new reinforcements with the Clone Commandos, all leading up to Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker tie-in event in December, and the fucking Swiss Army knife lightsaber. Bronval says that the developers will stick to Battlefront 2 and its live service approach to updates. Dice has been on sequel treadmill for quite a while, and I think the industry is changing rapidly. So while there's no clear plans for Battlefront 3 just yet, Battlefront 2 will continue to see updates and monthly improvements like many games as service titles currently operating within the games industry. What do we think about Battlefront 2? Them essentially coming out and saying that they fucked up, they shouldn't have done the loot boxes this late, saying that, and how they pretty much said what we always say when it comes to Ubisoft. Ubisoft supports the fuck out of their games really well, and even if the game comes out and doesn't do that well, they will work on it until they can fix it. Interesting to hear DICE notice that and take that approach. What do you think about the whole thing? And do you have interest in playing Battlefront 2?
I have no interest in playing Battlefront 2.
Easy.
I do think it's funny that it's a guy from DICE saying, imagine if we wouldn't have done all this stuff, even though we all know that was EA's decision to do that. I also think it's funny that there is a quote in there where he says, which the players called them play to win, taking no personal responsibility for that. So the only thing here I honestly agree with this guy is when he's talking towards the end, where he's talking about how games as a service and how the industry is changing. And I think most of us can agree. We are seeing a lot of games going more for long term on their games instead of rapid firing sequels. And I personally am a fan, and I hope they keep doing that because I don't want to keep buying $60 games
with
all the time.
certain games. I was about to say Remnant from the Ashes, which came out recently, which I'm really digging. One of the things I keep reading in reviews is saying it's just a game. You buy it, it's got a beginning, it's got a fucking end. You can replay it with your friends. It's not a game as service game. There's no like systems of like updating it constantly and shit. And like thought about them, like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I kind of miss those games where you just buy it and it's done.
Sure.
Although we talk about all the time, I'm also into the games as a service as long as it's done well, as long as it's supported well, but they can kind of drag on too. So it's kind of like a obviously case by case basis.
It 100% is, but when you're making something like a Rainbow Six or a Battlefront
2 for sure.
I think that lends itself to that games as a service. I've been saying it since even before the industry went this direction when I was working for the company that we were just talking about in the last news story, that games like Madden don't make sense to me that they make one every year when they could just update the fucker. So they make too much money, $60 a year on that. That's why. But anyways, it does make more sense. Regardless of that, it is interesting to hear them essentially say everything that everyone's already said about them. I am glad to see that they're taking a better approach with the game. I'm glad that it's doing well because, once again, don't want to see the devs suffer because of the publisher's bad choices. Even though DICE has had their own problems, but that's besides 100%. The point. But hopefully this is a turnaround point. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get to here. So.
All right, so I'm going to give them credit for sticking in there, doing the fucking Hello Games thing, and going, we're not going to give up. I get that. That's good, especially like you said, the devs don't want to make a bad game. They don't want people to hate their fucking game, blah, 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 blah. I have heard decent things about Battlefront 2 as it's been out, although it is still very much a dead game. If you look at the servers, a lot of the game types you're not fucking playing those game types because there's nobody to play with. This is also apparent in like Battlefield games as well, but they're really bad about separating content. So I know they've gotten better about that. So DICE is kind of like always up in the air with the way they support their games anyway. So it's good they admit they're at fault in some capacity. I think it's a little too late. Them also saying that people thought, those loot boxes were pay to win. They absolutely were, because there was aspects of the game that you unlocked only through loot boxes, like playable characters and shit. So that's stupid. It's really bad design. But if anything, I am glad to see that they swallowed their pride and they're releasing free content. They said in this last year, or the year we're in right now, they've released more stuff in this year than the launch year. So they have upped their production. So, I mean, if you think about it, outside of this singular game, as a brand, they have to save this, because if they want to make a Battlefront 3, they got to save the name. So they got to leave a better taste in your mouth when the game's done than when it came out. So, I see this game on sale all the time for really cheap, like fucking $8, $12, all the time. I've almost picked it up a couple times, and I have a pretty big, like, fuck that game mentality. But at that price, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of curious. The game looks great. I already know it looks great. I've heard really good things. Maybe I should help get the community back up, because there's people playing it who enjoy it. I'm sure they would love to have people to play with and stuff. But at the same time, I'm thinking, like, maybe I should wait till Battlefront 3. Maybe we should do a fucking a reset. Let's try it again. I'm sure this game is great, but like for me, maybe I need to get re-excited for a game. show me Battlefront 3, and then maybe we can start from there. And you start in a better way and not try and fuck me over, or make like a kind of a hollow game when it came out. And maybe I'll pick it up this time around. But like I have a lot of reservations when it comes to EA right now anyway, with almost everything that they're making. There's the controversy with Apex Legends, which everybody, loved that game when it came out, but like they're sitting there calling like the audience a bunch of dicks and stuff. And I'm like, not a good move. I get you get pissed off, but you got to chill. Then, DICE is having problems left and right. Fucking the guy who runs EA just will not learn. He doesn't give a fuck. They're trying to redefine, microtransactions and loot boxes, which is really sneaky. So, EA is a company. My problems with DICE, especially with Battlefield 5, I already have a negative connotation when it comes to all that anyway. So, but just on the dev side, the guys working on this game, trying to make it better, I can commend that. That's cool. I hope they can nail it. If I hear enough good things, I might consider picking it up because it's always on sale really cheap anyway. I wouldn't be surprised to see this game go free to play, although then it might lead to an expectation of 3 being free to play. So that's probably why they won't do it. Also, EA is really good about releasing a game and then selling it to you for $30 like the first month.
Instantly.
Yeah. So, that's just something to look forward to with all EA games. But overall, stick to it. Hopefully this game gets better, but I might wait till Battlefront 3 to reconsider. Unless, enough people in the community or people I know maybe start playing Battlefront 2, I would consider it then. But on my own, I will not take that step forward on my own. So, keep at it. Learn from Ubisoft. Ubisoft learned its lessons a lot already as well. There was some pretty negative opinions on them for a long time. Those have kind of faded, which has been nice to see. And hopefully Battlefront 2 gets good, and hopefully DICE gets their fucking shit together, and hopefully EA listens and stops being a bunch of fucking assholes when it comes to like every game they release, because they just don't care. I used to try and be like nuanced with my opinion on EA. Fuck that. I don't care. You don't fuck up that much. You don't do that much shitty stuff and get me trying to like, well, I understand. No, right. They're pieces of shit. So, So overall, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything else you want to say on that?
No.
Let us know in the comments. What do you think about DICE admitting that they hit rock bottom and they're working, from fucking start from the bottom now we're here. And what do you think about the future of Battlefront 2? Are you playing Battlefront 2? Did you play it? Are you planning on playing it? What would it take to get you into it or back into it? Are you just going to wait around for Battlefront 3? Have you completely just said, fuck them, I'm not playing it? What do you think about EA in general? And let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Battlefront 2, loot box controversies, and hitting rock bottom, and everything that we talked about in this episode. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Gaming. Check out my streams on YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer. Tasty Senpai on Twitch and 919 on Mixer. And you can check out my streams here on YouTube as well when I stream, because I triple stream. How do you say that? Dual, triple. Is it a triple stream? Triple the trip stream. We have Discord linked down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. And we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us in audio form. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Until the next episode, which we got Game of the Month and Plus Club coming up this week. So 2 episodes coming up this week. I'm going to be doing streams as well, because all I want to do, I got my second computer all built up, bought a brand new video card that can play everything on Ultra and shit. So I'm fucking ready to go. I'm ready to stream some shit. So stay tuned for that. But until the next episode, have a good week, guys, and take it easy.